You know, considering that I've always wanted to be a content creator since I was a child, I put up more videos. Hello, I'm Will, and if you couldn't tell by the fucking glorious pinny that I'm wearing, we're going to be doing some cooking today. Last time we did a bit of a cooking thing was this bit here, where we made some tuna calzones, and they were pucker, they were great. That was about a year ago, because I'm a dumbass and I just forget to actually go and do content. Today what we're going to be doing is making a really nice leek potato soup. This is something which I've sort of got ideas from, a mix mash of different recipes, but this is the one which I follow. It is going to be easy as fuck, and the cat now wants to come into the kitchen, doesn't he? Hello. So we have a special ingredient in the leek and potato soup, Barry. Say hello, Barry. He's like, fuck off, I want to go outside. I like to explore the world around me. In the boy. Would you like to go outside now? Okay. Okay, here are the items. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Butter, cream, onion, some potatoes, some fucking leeks. Who'd have thought it a leek and potato soup? And some bacon. Now the bacon is optional, but I need to get it used. I feel like now is actually a really good time to amend the ingredients list, because fucking ADHD, dude. You're gonna need some stock pots, because we need to make a little bit of a stock, because that's the whole point of the part of it. I'm using chicken. Didn't need that one. I'm using chicken this time because it's the only stock I've got available. It doesn't matter, but I would recommend using a vegetable stock instead. The gloriousness of this kind of meal is that everything can be done, aside from the bacon, with one big fucking pot. Okay, so normally I wouldn't give tips on how to do shit, because you can fucking Google and YouTube how to dice an onion, how to do this, that and the other. But with leeks, literally chop the little bit at the end off, okay, and then peel the thick part of it off. Right, you don't want the thick shit on there, that's rank. And then give it a good old wash, because you don't want this shit in there. Who the fuck wants to eat dirt? What are you? Dirt eaters? God. Now this recipe normally calls for about 450 grams worth of spuds, but the dish I'm using is a bit smaller and I prefer a more leaky flavoured soup. So I'm probably going to be using about 300 grams. I know I'm not going to convert that into your freedom units because I don't give a shit. Now, you can choose to keep your spuds skin on, skin off, up to you really. I prefer mine skin off just because of the fact that when it comes to the actual eating of the soup, it's not I find it's bitty, if that makes sense. Okay, now you could use these potato peels for something. I'm not sure what, but I'm sure that you could do something like season them, deep fry them, and then have them as crisps. But, I'm just going to get rid of them. Okay, now we've cleaned everything, now we've chopped everything. It's now time to make sure that we actually do all of the prep work for all of our veg.
Hi. Now, your spuds, these you need to cut relatively small-ish. I mean, they're going to be fucking zhushed up later anyway, but you want them with a smaller surface area as is reasonably possible so that it cooks quicker. Basically cut it probably about 1.5 centimeters cubed. I don't know if I get out. You figure it out.
Right, you guys are going to have to deal with potentially half my head missing from this shot, because this is the only way where I can get a really decent view of this done, and also a view of this. So you're going to have to pretend like you can see the top part of my head, because I'm not bending down like this the entire time and actually going like that. What the fuck's wrong with me? So the first thing that we're going to do when we go to cook is to turn the pissing hob on. The child lock's on. Fuck. I'm putting this at a medium temperature, around about 6 or 7. Mine goes up to 9, but it's an electric hob, so it's shit. If you've got a gas hob, put it probably on like gas mark 3. I don't fucking know. Play around with it. As long as it's not burning everything, you're alright. So, first thing I'm going to do, into there, knob of butter. Alright? Now, you Yanks, you love a bit of fucking butter. We use about 50 grams, but you guys don't measure shit anyway, so let's face it, you're not going to do it this time either. You see? You fucking see? This shit isn't like going absolutely mental, it's just slowly melting. That's what we want. We don't want to burn the living fuck out of it. Now the heat from this is now going to start melting this good and proper. You can hear the sizzle on it potentially already. If not, fucking come and have a look again. See that? Yeah. And that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to shove my onions in there until the point where they become clear. Come closer, come closer. Come closer, guys, come closer. Right, you see that now in there, alright? That is looking pretty much sort of clear. It's starting to clear a little bit now. So we're going to bung in now the leeks and the potatoes, and we're just going to cover it, maybe adding a little bit more butter, because we want this to sweat. It's a really weird concept. You want stuff to sweat when you're cooking, but hey ho, that's what we're doing. Timer on for 15 minutes. You just want it to sweat now at a little bit of like a simmery temperature. I said I put it on 5, may even put it on 4 because it's already retaining some of the heat that it's got there. Every so often just give it a bit of a stir, make sure nothing is sticking to the bottom and burning the bottom of the pan, because if you burn it at this stage you're going to taste it all throughout the soup, and that's just bad news bears.
A few moments later.
So you can see it's keeping the moisture actually inside the pot because you don't want dry as fuck leeks. Well, you can't see. Let's bring you closer. Grab you guys by the fucking throat. I'm sure that's a kink somewhere. It is keeping all that lovely juicy moisture in, which I'm now releasing with all the steam that's going there. What we're trying to avoid is, you see where them brown bits are right at the bottom of the pan? That bit's fine there. That stuff's fine because that fucking comes off easy as shit. But it's we don't want that to blacken, we don't want that to burn, so we give it a quick stir again. Make sure everything has a lovely coating of butter. And then lid back on. We can leave that now for the rest of the time. Oh, I forgot to season it. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. Give it a whirl. You know what? I could have just edited all that to make it look like I hadn't forgotten to put the fucking seasoning in, and then use this bit to completely call myself out on the fact that I forgot to put the seasoning in until about 7 minutes remaining on the timer. I won't tell anyone if you don't. Okay, so we've got about 2.5 minutes now left on this while it's sweating. So now we want to make sure that we get our stock ready. I've already got my stuff into a jug. Need to boil the kettle, get that sorted, get whisking that. We want about 850 mils. I'm going to put 800 inside a bitch. Stir with a fork. This is such a stupid camera angle. Now the reason why we don't add a lot of salt as well when we season it is because stock tends to have a lot of salt in it anyway, so you just add in more salt onto salt to salt while you salt. Now that's done. That's hot. Literally pour your stock in, that's all you need to do. Happy days, give it a good old stir. Make sure nothing is cremated to the bottom. Here we are. Ow. Done it again. And leave that for 20 minutes. Right, now we've got about 10 minutes left of this now, okay? We've got a little pan. I've put 2 squirts of this fry-like oil shit in there, okay? It's just a little sort of spray 1-calorie oil thing, which is a good substitute, but not as good as the real thing in my opinion. I like flavour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that to heat up, and then we're going to fry off some bacon, which I've taken the time to already cut during the, I don't know, the intermission or some shit. Now, if you have a little look at this, whilst we've still got a bit of time left, alright? Can you see that? Can you see that? That's fucking simmering. Once again, we are simmering shit. We're not boiling the absolute fuck out of it. Right? Simmering. Lovely. Delicious. Exactly what we want. That is fucking number one. Part of the whole thing about cooking, and cooking for others in particular, is you don't want them waiting. Because if people are waiting, they ain't eating. Alright? So I've got, what, about 4 minutes ish? Yeah, 4 minutes left on my timer. So about now, I've got my bacon frying off. I've got that on the end of its life right now. To serve it, right, it's a fucking soup. What's the point of having a soup without bread, alright? Now, we like a bit of bread in this house. It doesn't have to be... we got the reduced stuff because it's fucking cheaper, but we're having this with food. What do you want? A couple of slices to go with it. I mean, you don't have to butter it or anything, as long as it's... As long as you've got a couple of slices. You want something to mop up the last few dregs of your soup when you're finished, don't you? And then literally slap it on a plate. Easy peasy. Like, that's something so simple, and we still have 3 minutes left, so we're not in any panic for food. I mean, you can butter them if you want, but that's your prerogative. Oven gloves. Now this is where the fun bit comes in, okay? Because this doesn't quite look like what we need to do. If you come have a little look, come with me. Right, we've got all that there, okay? Everything in there, looking pretty good, smelling pretty good, but it's not quite where we want it to be. I'm going to add now a fuck ton of cream. Yeah, so now I'm going to add about 250 mils worth of double cream. I'm not really going to be measuring it because I'm going to fuck. But you want it off the temp, cool down a little bit, and in it goes. You can choose to cook it with it, but I'm not going to. Then lovely bit of a stir in. But will, you say? It's still looking white as fuck now. It's a completely different colour. Yeah, that's where the zhushy bit comes in. Flick it straight in. And then you want to put it underneath the soup, so you don't want it on top, because otherwise you're just going to make a fucking mess. And then...
A few moments later.
Done. There. Soup. Thing which I advise. Fucking taste it. Good soup. But yeah, I hope that's helpful. Now literally do pour it in the bowls, sprinkle a little bit of the bacon on the top of it. If you want to put it with chives, and you can, that's completely up to you. But yeah, I hope this has helped, and I'll let you guys know how the food went on in the comments below. See you later. Have fun. Bye.